Greetings. Patrick here, 8 Questions with. We are going up a couple of minutes early because the doorbell has rang. We are running to get the doorbell to see who this is. You know how you know how it is here. As soon as the doorbell rings, we go get the guest, and that's what we're gonna do. So here we go. Oh,
Hi.
both of you showed up at the same
Hello.
time. Wow, now that's cool as hell right there. I've never had that happen. So and we are live, just to let you know. I saw the doorbell had rung, so I went to grab it early because I don't like to leave anybody waiting. So hopefully I didn't keep you waiting too long.
No.
No, we're good.
Very nice meeting you, Nicole Ann, and very nice meeting you, Kalel.
Nice to meet you too.
That's right. And notice how we got your name right because
Yes.
because we are Superman. We are Superman fans.
Yeah.
Well, except for Superman 4, we don't talk about that.
No, we're good.
I'm glad you guys are all here. Generally, we'll just make some light chat here while we watch everybody come in, and we'll get this party started about 8 o'clock or so.
Perfect.
Hey Anthony, how are you? How are you? Glad you're here. Let's see. Oh, he went to see Imaginary, and he said it was scary.
Oh,
Did you ever have imaginary friends when you were growing up?
me?
Both of you.
Yes, I used to watch Dora when I was a kid, and my imaginary friend was Boots.
Aw.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of The Outsiders, so whenever I thought like imaginary friends, it was like always Dallas Winston because he was my
Oh, that's
favorite.
cool.
For me, I had a cat named Derek Jeter, and I always saw me and Derek more like Mac and Blue from Foster's.
Oh,
Cute.
Yeah, we love that show. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, Imaginary. It seems like a lot of movies have been coming through lately with based on imaginary friends. I think it's a new
Mhm.
horror thing. I think we're going to see a lot more of it. Hello, Stephen. How are you? Yeah, that's right. This looks like a job for Superman. Well, that's a really good. We can ask that question here. So, who is your Superman, Kalel?
who was the person who played him?
Yeah, who's your favorite actor playing Superman?
Probably Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I agree.
He's my
I saw Nicole.
generation.
As soon as she said hen, I can see Nicole was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's one thing about Superman. We always have debates on who played Batman the best and who played, like some played it really, really good and some played it really, really bad. And it's funny, it's like throughout all Superman, there really never has been a bad Superman. If you think about it, George Reeves was really good. Are you a comic book fan, Nicole Ann? Do you like comics?
I do.
Sweet. Oh, so I mean, back in my day, we watched George Reeves, and then later on we got Christopher Reeve,
Mhm.
and we have Brandon Routh, and we had Henry Cavill. I mean, we've been really blessed with having great actors play the character. No one says there's been a bad Superman. Maybe a bad Superman movie, but we don't talk about Superman.
Yeah.
Nor do we talk about Superboy. Have you? That was painful. Oh, and the other two Supermen we should mention about too, because I don't want to disrespect them either. But Tom Welling did a great job as Superman, and of course, Dean Cain was a very good Superman.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
now, see that Batman can't claim that because people say, "Oh yeah, well George Clooney sucked, Val Kilmer sucked." It's like some people didn't like George, and some people didn't like Christopher Bale, some people didn't like Robert Pattinson, but no one has ever said, "I didn't like that Superman." No one has ever said that. All right. All right, so this is going to be new for us. We're gonna get into this a little bit. So I picked you guys for a reason. I picked you guys for a reason for this show. And one of the best things I love talking about on Eight Questions with is a lot of times we get actors, producers, and directors that are just starting their careers or just getting into it. And I think Tennessee Bigfoot is your first movie, right, Kalel?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And Nicole Ann, how many movies have you have underneath your belt as an actress? I know you worked on some as crew, but how many have you had as an actress?
We actually just finished doing more of a music video, but I am in an anthology right now.
So,
It's a very, very new.
First movie for Kalel, first acting experience for you. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm glad you guys both agreed to do this too. I put out the. Okay, so Kalel has a movie called a Tennessee Bigfoot. When I saw that, I couldn't hit the buttons. I couldn't hit the keyboard fast enough to get you to come onto the show to talk about Tennessee Bigfoot. Now, okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Where were each of you born and raised at? And we'll go with Nicole first. Where were you born and raised at? Have you always been an Ohio girl?
No, I was actually born and raised in Michigan, up in the Thumb area.
Okay. That means you're around Bad Axe?
Oh, not quite Bad Axe, but in the Tuscola County area. So I know of Bad Axe and Saginaw, Flint. So I'm kind of like, if you do it like this, I believe it's like right about here-ish. There's a small town called Mayville.
So yeah, you're not too far away from Selfridge.
I'm sorry.
You're not too far away from Selfridge.
Right. Yep.
I'm in Michigan as well. I live between Ann Arbor and Detroit. How about you, Kalel? Where were you born and raised at?
I was born and raised in Crossville, Tennessee, and I've lived here my whole life.
So you are still Tennessee based.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Tennessee's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Ohio is beautiful too.
It does have its beauty.
I've interviewed a lot of folks from Ohio. And you saw that. You see that I post in there every time I do a show. I'm always promoting in the Ohio group. I love it. I think Ohio's got so much talent there. And Tennessee, I'm starting to discover that. Last week we talked to a creator who is based in West Virginia, and that was the first time I've talked to anybody who's making film in West Virginia. It's first time. So I've talked to some artists that have been from Tennessee. In fact, we had one on. We were supposed to have one on last week, but his tech problems just kept him away from us, unfortunately. So talk to us about. I'm always going to go with Nicole first, and then we'll come to you, Kalel. Tell us how you got your start, Nicole. Like, was it the usual way? Through high school? Was it through church plays? Through your parents encouraging you? How did you get your start?
So I was actually never a very confident person. I took the drama theater classes in high school, and I played in Arsenic and Old Lace. And I remember stepping out on that stage and thinking, everyone I know is out in the audience right now, and I just can't mess up. I remember that fear. So I never thought I'd get back into this. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm just getting older. So why not just go for it and see what I can do? And then I started to join Facebook groups and responded to a casting call for a town that's actually right next to where I live right now. And from that point, I just started making connections and networking. I've met really amazing people, and they've just given me even more confidence to try. Like, horror wasn't my thing, but that's what I've done mainly. And then we've done music videos, the anthology. I know so many people from doing this now that the possibilities are endless, and going from having no confidence to confidence now, huge.
I'm hearing a little bit of background. Do either one of you have your speakers up on your monitor?
Yeah.
Can you turn it down a little bit, please?
Okay.
Testing 1, 2. Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So now you mentioned how you decided that you were getting old. You were getting older, and then you came to the point where you're like, well, yeah, either I do this now, or I'm going to always regret that.
Mhm.
What was the defining moment for you? I mean, was it just watching appear on stage or appear on camera, and you said, I could do that. I want to do that. I am going to do that.
That's actually a combination. So New Year's, when they have the big shows, the live shows, every year I felt so drawn to it. Like, I want to be able to do this one day. I just want to be able to get in front of people, and that was my deciding factor. That if I want to do this bad enough, I will do it. No excuses. And I don't know where it's going to lead. I'm hoping in good directions. And getting back into theater, getting in front of people again was huge for me. And I've just loved every minute of it. So I'm embracing something that was like, burning inside, almost like a little ember. So I just relit that flame, so to speak.
I gotta say, what a perfect place for you to be in,
Right.
for that to spark. It really is. I mean, if you were in Michigan when that happened, Michigan, it might have been a little bit more tougher. I don't think Michigan has the film community as Ohio does. So going down there and getting the fire, getting willing to do that. I think you landed at the right spot.
Me too. I cannot believe how big it is here. Like, the more people I connect with, the more amazed I am that the reach and the creativity that's here. It's amazing.
Okay, Kalel, how about you? Oh, your turn down your monitor all the way. Your sound all the way. I'm gonna see that.
How do you do that?
There's a little feedback coming back.
Is that good?
Testing 1, 2. Yeah, that's a lot better. There you go. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I think. Okay.
I'll speak a little louder here. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, thank you.
How are you? Larry commented to you and Nicole. He says, I feel if you want something bad enough, you'll go get it. So great way to be determined. So
Absolutely.
So and then let's talk to our young man, Kalel. How about you? How did you get your start?
How did I get my start? Well, I've always been into movies ever since I was like young. Like, instead of playing with toys when I was a kid, I would just put discs on my fingers and spin them around, and I would play with movie discs. And I don't know, it was like, I've always kind of wanted to be an actor ever since I was that age. And I kind of let it go for a while. And then one day we watched a show called Monsters and Mystery, like on TV. And there was an episode of that show about the Tennessee Wild Man. And it's kind of about a show where people tell their real life stories and encounters with the actual Bigfoot. So it was set in Rockwood, Tennessee, and that's like 30 miles from where I live. And we were like, oh my God, there's footage. We drove there a million times. It was the same buildings we saw, We're like, that's so cool. And so a few weeks later, we were driving through Rockwood, and my parents were like, hey, this is where that person saw the Tennessee Wild Man in this area. And I was like, oh, cool. And I let it go. And then it popped in my head, you should make a movie about this creature. And I was like, I can't do that. I'm going to need a big budget. I'm going to need a bunch of people to help me. I'm going to need a big old camera. I need to learn how to act. I mean, I'm like, I didn't think I could do it. And then I just kind of let it go. And it was just kind of like, make it more of a found footage type film.
Okay.
Film it with your phone. We filmed it with this.
Awesome.
And put your daddy in a costume, buy a tent, and we live in the middle of the woods. So the wood scenery wasn't hard. And that was it.
I think it's amazing your dad dressed up as the Bigfoot.
Yeah, it was perfect too, because he's a bodybuilder and he's kind of scary. So it was perfect. He's perfect. Yes. It's awesome.
You're probably the first director. You're probably the first director to film in a shot, and the Bigfoot says roar, and you go like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go in my trailer for a few minutes."
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what did it take to? I'm just off the topic question. What was it like to feed the Tennessee Bigfoot? Like, what did you feed him to keep him happy? You know, as a director.
Nothing. Nothing. Oh, he's not happy.
Oh, he's not
at all.
Oh my God!
Mean. He does not like me there in the woods.
So rule number one, right, Nicole? Rule number one on a set of a movie. Rule number one is have a good craft table.
Yeah.
First lesson. Have crafty. That way you have a happy cast. Otherwise you can have a hungry or a hangry Tennessee
Hangry.
Bigfoot. Yeah, hangry. So you don't want a hangry Bigfoot.
Mm-mm.
Now, were you always fascinated by creatures like that, Kalel? Were you always interested in cryptoids or creature features? What kind of movies did you watch growing up?
Oh, heck yeah. I grew up watching Finding Bigfoot on Animal Planet. And when I got a little older, I started watching scary Bigfoot movies, and that's definitely the inspiration for this as well. I watched so many horror Bigfoot stuff. And yeah, I've always loved that type of stuff.
Creature features that. So, like, you watching monster movies, you watch Godzilla, you watch that sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how about you, Nicole Ann? When you were growing up, what kind of movies did you watch growing up?
I avoided everything scary because I never had good experiences with any of it. I was a kid that got nightmares. Easy.
Yeah.
I was always a fan of like period pieces, like of Pride and Prejudice is probably my favorite all time. No matter which version it is that's been done, I love it. So it was like period pieces and comedies. Those were my two go-tos all the time.
Yeah.
Sure. So you were like a big Jane Austen fan.
Yes.
Love, Sense and Sensibility. The one with Emma Thompson and Keira Knightley.
That was so good. Yeah, and Kate Winslet.
That was it. Kate Winslet. It was. Kate
yeah,
Winslet.
Very young Kate Winslet.
And Alan Rickman played the Colonel, and
yes.
he was he was so lovely in that role. That's my favorite Alan Rickman role. That's even more so than Harry Potter, which will surprise some people. Steven wants to know no horror comedy. Did you watch any like the scary movies or any of those silly comedy drama comedy horror movies?
So like the spoof ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, like the ones they did for Scream.
Right. Yeah.
I love those.
I did like those. Yeah, I would watch those. But anything that would be like, okay, so this wasn't probably supposed to be a scary movie for anybody, but I had horrendous nightmares from Mars Attacks. Nightmares, literally. And that was more of a funny, now that I've seen it again, I'm like, why did that traumatize me as a kid? Anyway, I think it's all the way the aliens talked to each other and did the skeleton thing. I just did not like it as a kid at all.
Honestly, I was actually waiting for you to say The Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage. I was waiting.
Nicolas Cage is actually pretty good. So anything I watch with him, I just know it's like It's all good.
It's silly. It's it's you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know if you're gonna get a good cage or a bad cage or a
Yeah.
crazy cage. So let's. Well, you are gonna be meeting a Bigfoot later on tonight, though. I'll just letting you know that. So be ready for that.
Yeah.
So talk to us about your. Like you said, you had an idea in your head. Julie Moore is here. It says, "Hello, this is awesome, my daughter." And then
That's my mom.
okay. And then another young person, Justin Brief, said, "Hey, sister of mine, enjoy YouTube. Congrats on everything." So this is awesome as well.
Hey, fans.
So there you go. See, you got supporters coming in. And now is this both your first time you've done press?
Yes.
Have you been interviewed? Have you ever been in? This is your first time.
Yes.
So, well, this is the first of many. This is the first of many. I'm telling you, this is part of the game they haven't really explained to you yet. But this is important to get your name out there and get your and so people can see you and they can hear you and hear your background. So press is important, boys and girls. Not as important as having a good craft table, but it's up there. So I like it, Kalel. I like the idea that you sat there and you identified that you had a great idea. You had a great idea. You wanted to do it, but you didn't know how to do it. Like I need a camera, I need a crew, I need a cast, I need a script, I need a costume. So walk us through. How did you put that all together for yourself?
It wasn't that hard. I was honestly a vlogger. I film myself like going shopping, buying stuff, because I collect like DVDs and stuff and records and all that fun stuff. And that kind of got me used to filming myself on a camera and not like get all shy in front of it.
Right.
And so I was very shocked when I got in front of the camera and started filming the movie. I was like, God, I'm going to be awful. And then I wasn't. And I was like, apparently I can act. And the costume wasn't hard at all either. My daddy ordered it. I don't remember where we got it though. But it's pretty good though. And yeah, we bought a tent.
How did your dad react when you sat there and said, Pops, I'm going to cast you as Bigfoot. I want you to play Bigfoot. I want you to bring drama.
He absolutely loved it. He said he'd play it again if he could.
So are we already getting the scoop here that there could be a sequel to Tennessee Bigfoot, possibly?
Well, I can't say too much about it, but I do have ideas for 2 more sequels.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm very excited for them. So he will return.
Just letting you know, Nicole, there it is right there. Could be a possible sequel. Just mark that down. You could be like the Bigfoot hunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could hey, stranger things have happened.
This is how it happens too. You make your connections.
That's right. Hey, Greg, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Artist Greg Scorpion from Scorpion Metals. Awesome artist. Came out and walked on in. And Steven wants to promote. Probably a little way away from promoting, but definitely good person to know. Good person to know would be Stephen Chang. He handles promotions. So if you want to know how to promote your star, Kalel, or promote yourself, Nicole Ann, Stephen has some good ideas, and definitely you could look him up and talk. That's for sure. So I like the idea of a sequel. So
Thank you.
Now, did you go out there? Now, did you advertise? Did you tell people what you were doing? Did you tell people that, hey, I'm going to make a movie? I want did you get your cast through word of mouth, or did you actually do a casting process for the film for Tennessee?
No, it's just me and my parents.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, you mentioned your mom's in the movie too, right?
Yeah, has no speaking parts in the film. I can't say what scene it's in because it'll spoil
Right.
the movie, but she's just in there looking scared. That's it. I actually was like, and I'm so sorry for saying what I'm about to say. I actually had speaking lines for her originally in the writing. And when we started filming it, she's a horrible actress.
Man, look at
And I was like, Mom, I'm so
he's
sorry.
he's already got the Kubrick going.
I was like, Mom, I'm sorry. I can't. You're just gonna make faces. You're not gonna say anything in the
Well,
scene. I'm so sorry.
Well, thank God you spared your mom 126 takes.
Yes.
I think that might have angered the Tennessee Bigfoot a little bit towards you, though. So probably a good
Yes.
idea just to keep it down to a single take. Now, how about you, Nicole? Have you been in a situation where you find yourself where you needed to do a couple of takes on a film, and what's that like when a director says cut and and let's line it up again, let's do it again? How does that feel? Is it more of a feeling of, okay, we could do this better, or two, man, I did really really well on that, I really wish he keep that cut, or what as an actor, when the director says let's do it again, what is the emotional reaction to that?
Well, for me, I don't really have too much of an emotional reaction to it because I would personally love to retry something a few times just to see the different angles we could get it, whether it be tone, lighting, emotion. So just recently we did a video shoot, and I thought our entire take was beautiful. I was like, this is great. And then we got to a point where the director was like, well, let's try it this way. And I thought, oh no, I thought this was gonna be perfect. And
Right.
I ended up liking it the second way so much better. Just the different way I held my face, or the different reaction from my opposite. It's all about, staying in that creative space in your mind and taking the direction well, knowing that they see something that's their vision. They're trying to get this the way they see it, not necessarily the way you see it. So going into it with an open mind is absolutely the best way to be.
Yeah, I've seen some actors that they'll be with a couple of scene partners, and I was reading about one actor on a TV series where they would do a scene, and with scene partners, and once in a while, at the end of it, instead of, he would walk off, and say, let's do it again, like, let's do that again. And it's like there was no considerations for asking anybody what they were thinking about. It's just like, let's just do it again. I thought that, I love the actor and I respect him, but I always thought that was a little bit selfish to walk up there and just sit there and say, cut, let's do it again. I want to do it again. I want to do another take, without consulting any of the scene partners, because they might have really delivered on that. You don't know until you look at the dailies, right? You don't know that. Like you might have blew somebody else's spoon out of the water by focusing everything on yourself.
That's true.
Now, have you encountered that yet? Have you encountered that kind of ego, or is it ego, or is it just an actor trying to strive for perfection?
I witnessed. So I was a production assistant on another shoot, and I witnessed that in the actor that we had. They were quite vocal about wanting to try something again, even though their opposite thought it was beautiful. They thought it was perfect, but they were very adamant on doing it 2 or 3 different times, to the point where the director was even like, "Hey, we got our shot. We're good." In theater, it's a little different. So if you have your scene with your partner and you give your lines beautifully, and you're in the zone, and then they want to do it again, and you come out and you forget half your lines. It's like you said, it kind of blows blows it out of the water the first time, and there's no consideration for the second or third, however many times you need to redo it. But in theater, you don't get the opportunity to do cut, let's do it over again when you're actually doing the performance. So it does make it a little more understandable.
Yeah, on theater, you're out there without a net. I mean, if you make a small error or mistake, you just plow through it and hope no one noticed it. Okay, someone's got to turn that down. I'm hearing feedback again. There's feedback going on. Can someone turn down their monitor a little bit?
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
I thought perhaps it was me because I live closer to a train track, and I heard the train coming. And I thought, oh no.
No. Whenever you have a monitor up, like it feedbacks. That's all. That's perfect. We're back. Okay. So now you just heard me ask an actor a question about doing a scene and then having a scene partner come in and basically imposing their will on that. Well, let me ask you as a director. Now, how many things have you actually directed yourself? Is this your true first project?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
Let me ask you this question as a director: how are you going to approach an actor who is doing a scene like that, and maybe he or she says cut before you do? How's a director? How are you going to handle that? How do you see yourself handling that?
I don't know. That hasn't happened to me yet, honestly. I don't really.
Yeah, trust me right now. Yeah. Trust me right now. Your dad's making notes right now because he's going to for the sequel. Yeah. He's going to do this to you. I'm telling you. But let's I mean, it's like how, I mean, but how would you handle that? I mean, how do you handle adversity yourself when it comes down to creating? Would you take him aside and talk to him privately? Would you sit there and say, hey, that's not your call to make in front of the cast and crew? Or would you just go ahead and let him get away with it and set up for the same shot again? I mean, be honest. Cut loose.
It might be a little aggravating. Like, does that make sense? But because, as the writer, director, producer, everything, it would be a little because you have an image and you really want to do your best to make that image perfect. But it would also be cool to have their perspective on things. I would be open to their perspective. So
I guess that's a good neutral answer. I guess it would probably depend on the actor, right, Nicole? I mean,
yeah.
If the actor wasn't if the actor was one of the things about the actor I told you about is I always sensed that he was more frustrated about himself. He was more like, I could do this better and get it out better. I never got the impression that when he did that he was being an ass about it. I got the impression that when he did it, he was just trying to get a better scene. But the other actors in there, it's like, what if that is their best scene? What if that is their best energy, and you just blew it without talking to them? I know that I know some scenes are set up where you can get 5 or 6 takes out of it. After that, for a lot of times, if you haven't gotten it in 5 or 6 takes, you're not going to get it, or you're not going to get the best. You're going to get a take, sure, but you're not going to get the best, and you get to come back around to shoot that scene again because the energy that your actors had for it is depleted. Especially if it's an emotional scene.
I was going to say that if you're crying.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Could you imagine trying to ask somebody to do a crying scenes for 6 takes? That's very, very difficult. Um, uh, so let's talk a little bit about live theater, Nicole Ann. Now that right now that currently is your strength, right? Because you
Yes.
are rehearsing for your performance.
Hmm.
What's the play that you're doing, and what's your role in it?
So right now, the production that we were working on is called the Sweet Delilah Swim Club, and I play a character named Lexi. And I don't know if this is one that's been out in bigger theaters. So excuse me, in bigger areas. And it's a very cute story of these 5 women who met in college and on a swim team, and then they get together at a little beach house every August for the rest of their lives. And that point, so it takes you from like 20 years after graduation, and then 5 years after that, and then 20 more years. And basically, you're seeing the progression of all the different stages of their lives in those scenes. And it's funny, it's emotional, I'm really enjoying learning the lines and the blocking for it. I think it's gonna be a
Now,
great production.
now when is now how long does it usually take? Like for like for a movie, a lot of times you tell your actors, here's your script. Um, what kind of lines? I'm just curious, Kalel. What kind of lines does Tennessee Bigfoot have? Is it just roar or brr? Was it hard to write those lines, or did you let them improvise?
No, it's just a bunch of roaring. does, does that answer
Uh,
your question?
okay. So, how did you prepare for your role, and Nicole Ann? I mean, what did you work with because like I said, with movies, you get your script a few weeks ahead of time, and then
Mhm.
when you show up on the set, you're there and you're ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
Theater, you're doing rehearsals and everything else. How long have you been in rehearsals, or how long does generally a rehearsal period take between for a live theater show, for live theater? How many rehearsal have you done for it?
So we do rehearsals 3 times a week. Right now, we're shifting our timeline because we're postponing the actual production date until later in the year. But the schedule's 3 days a week of rehearsals in different blocks, and you you research your character. You really get a feel for who they are as you're doing your blocking and working with the other actors. And to prepare for it, learning, there's a lot of lines. There are always a lot of lines to learn. But what I've found useful is if you're identifying like one of your lines with something on the stage, like if I'm talking to one of the characters, I know there's a vase behind them, I know I'm needed to say this particular line because it has to deal with the pictures or the walls or the flowers, for example. Um, we also practice this where we sit down and we're going to record all our lines together so we can listen to it during our downtime and practice our lines out loud. There are so many ways to prepare and to learn. And I think my favorite method is definitely recording someone else saying their lines and then you practicing yours to like empty space or in your car.
Okay. So you don't really have any run lines for you for your role then.
No, I have a friend that she's in the play with me, and we'll get together and do our lines together. But for the previous production I was in, I was usually just using my phone, recording the other lines, and then playing those out loud, and then saying my line in place.
Now, how many live shows do you have underneath your belt?
This will just since high school, this will just be the third one actually. So it
Okay.
was the one in high school. I did one back in the fall called Mousetrap, and then it'll be this one.
Okay. Now, Kalel, now you mentioned earlier in the interview that you wanted to act. Had you done any acting at all before you stepped into the director's chair for Tennessee Bigfoot? Have you acted in any productions yourself?
I have been in like movies before this, like, but there was no like speaking lines. I was just an extra. I was in Love Waits, Best Friend Eternally, and I was in 42. I was like an extra, like one of the people in 40,
in the
one of the
baseball
baseball
movie?
fans in 42.
That's
Oh
cool.
wow!
Thank you. 42 is actually my first movie I was in. And
Nice.
at the time, I was just like, I'm gonna be in a movie. It was really fun. You know, I was 6. What was I? 7 when they filmed it, and they
Wow.
put me in a chair, and they made my hair look like 1940s, and they put a cap on me, like a baseball cap, like 40s cap, and I think I was in this
40s attire.
Yeah, I looked like I was in the 40s. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, now
Thank
that
you.
was that the moment that spurred you to like like this is something I want to do? I mean, even at 7 years old, did you enjoy it? Was it hot, or did you have to you have to wait around a long time? Uh, do you remember? Do you remember? What
I
do you
think
remember from? What do you remember from your first film?
a lot of there was a lot of waiting. We just sat down the whole time. There was a bunch of dummies everywhere to make it look like there was more people in the crowd.
Oh wow!
And they gave us like food, like
Oh,
packs.
did you have a lot of? Was it good food at the table? Did you have Did you eat well?
That place had really good hot dogs, and I could not get the same types of hot dogs since, and I wish I could.
Now, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, but I'm sure your dad is sitting over there right now making notes
Yes.
for the Tennessee Bigfoot sequel. Hot dogs. I want hot dogs. A lot of good hot dogs. I'm just telling you, it's gonna happen.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool though. That means you got to do that. I think my first impression would have been, damn, Black Panther can actually hit a baseball,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we saw Harrison Ford too.
Yeah. And we saw Harrison Ford. The funny thing about that one too, when my dad said, we're gonna meet Indiana Jones. And
Okay.
when I thought I was actually gonna see him in his Indiana Jones outfit, still young. And I probably saw him. I kept being like, where the heck is he? He was there. He was, even when I watched the movie when it came out, I was like,
He played Branch Rickey.
I think he played Branch Rickey.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was like, where the heck is he? I was like, even in the movie, I was like, he's nowhere to be seen, because I expected him to be in his Indiana Jones outfit. But when you're 7, you just have a specific image on people. And
Now,
how
how old were you? How old were you when you started writing? Because I'm taking that writing came before anything else for you. Am I right? I mean, as far as
I was 17. 17, yeah, 17. I think so.
yeah, what was the first thing that you what's the first thing that you wrote?
Tennessee Bigfoot. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's really charming.
Yeah.
Now, have you done any live theater now too? Have you done any of that? Or have you thought about doing that? Or have you thought about doing more acting as well, so you could get a better perspective of what it's like in front of the camera, in order to make you a better director behind it?
I haven't thought a lot about live theater. I'm open to it, but it's not my thing as much as like movie making is. But what was the second question again? I'm sorry.
Now, as far as directing goes, are you gonna do any more acting?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that you can do more acting, so you get an idea what it's like behind the camera, to see what an actor is going through in front of it. Because a lot of directors, they don't act, they direct. That's what they do. But I think some of the best directors are ones that have done acting, because then they get a perspective of what like I want to see what Nicole Ann's feeling during the scene. If I
Yeah.
act if I put myself in her shoes, I can understand it better. I can make her roll, I can make her dialogue improved. I can get a better performance from her. I just feel sometimes a director will come in and that's what they do is they just direct, and it's like they don't get any perspective of what the what their talent is feeling. And sometimes I think sometimes movies come across, you hear people say, wow, that actor was sort of stiff, or they didn't really seem very comfortable. Well, a lot of times it's because the director really doesn't know how to get that out of that actor.
Yeah.
Um, do you plan on going to school? You plan on going to film school? Is that a goal of yours?
No, I'm more of a natural. I feel like I don't need it. Like, yeah, I just learn it myself. I know
Man,
that sounds kind of hard to,
I don't know. I'm hearing this,
but,
and Tennessee Bigfoot better be all that and a cup of chips. That's all I got to say.
yeah.
How long is your movie? Is it a feature length? Did you do a feature length or did you do a short movie?
It's an hour and 5 minutes.
Okay,
Oh.
that's feature length these days.
Yeah.
I
We
mean, it's
wanted it to be
not
feature length, so it's
Oppenheimer
not
length,
bad.
right? Not it's not gonna be like Oppenheimer. Okay,
That one's a little long.
yeah, tiny bit. So now, how about you, Nicole Ann? What kind of roles do you look forward to play now? Now, you like the drama, you like the comedy. Now, if someone walked up to you and they said, "Hey, I want to put you in Tennessee Bigfoot." Is this something that you would audition for, or would you consider, or is that something that you go that's not really me. It's not what I'm trying to get. How do you approach the roles that you select?
So I'm very open to trying any particular genre. So when I'm looking at the casting calls, I'm trying to fit into a place to where I know what I could do versus, well, hey, this would probably be a struggle, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Because I feel the more experience you have doing different types, the better you get. Because like with the horror, I didn't know I was going to like it as much as I do. I had no plans on doing horror at all, and I love it. So I would absolutely love to do something down the road that's more warrior-ish, maybe like like Wonder Woman, the Gal Gadot. She portrayed her beautifully, and I love it. Very actionable, very action filled, and she's strong and fierce. Maybe even something along the lines of piracy, taking over, being a leader, but in not so much of a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm very open to any type. It's just where I fit is where I'm still trying to identify.
I don't know about you. I'm just sensing some real magic here. I'm sensing Nicole Ann, Bigfoot hunter. I can see it.
With a cape and everything, and a camouflage like leafy hat.
I can see it now. Out there hunting Bigfoot. Now here's something. Here's something I'm going to ask you both because I think Nicole Ann will know what I'm talking about with this. But I'm going to talk to you about this too, Kalel. Now, have you done, Nicole? Have you done any of those 48 film challenges? Ohio's famous for this, by the way.
I have not.
Oh, you haven't yet.
I have not. I've seen them in the groups that I follow, and people that I know have done them or are part of them. I see them on Facebook a lot, but I have not participated in one yet.
Your mom could see you. Your mom could actually see you being Bigfoot hunter too, and Nicole Ann.
I love it.
We're interviewing and auditioning and casting all at one shot.
All in one.
And assuring a good crafting table. What more could you do? So how about you, Kalel? Have you ever heard of the 48-hour film challenge? And where you live at, is there a film community around you? Are there peers that you can talk to about making films? Or are you out there in a small town?
It's small town.
Okay. So is there anybody else making films besides you?
I have somebody else in this town. His name's Donald James Parker, and he actually makes like little Christian movies. And those are the films I've actually been in: Love Waits and Best Friends Eternally, and those are two of the first movies that I got to be extras in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What was that? Now, what was it like acting in a Christian production? What was different from a mainstream production?
There's no Bigfoot.
There was no Bigfoot.
Well, wait 40 days. That could change, you know. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. So it's just one other peer who makes the little Christian short films. So you out there by yourself? How far away are you from a city where there is a sizable population that you could connect with? And do you do what Nicole Ann does? Do you go on different Facebook groups or different like, you know, and other websites to talk films?
I don't.
There's one Bigfoot appreciation group that you're in.
Yeah, like somebody actually added me on a Bigfoot film appreciation group on Facebook a few weeks ago.
Your Tennessee Bigfoot group on Facebook is pretty worthy.
Yeah, thank you.
I will have to put that in the description box down below if you want to go ahead and hang out over in the Bigfoot group. By all means, we'll make sure there's a link for that. Were you surprised to see how many people responded to that? Because there's almost like a couple thousand people in it. Did you realize? Once you saw that, did you realize that there was a market for something like this in your area?
Oh yeah, like yeah, like I didn't care about like how many people saw it. I just wanted it out there. Does it make sense? Does that answer your question?
Well, I mean, you start the group to raise awareness for your movie, so you do sort of want to care that people are coming into it. You definitely want to acknowledge that people are there in the group, as long as they're not being rude or disrespectful or spammy. Because remember, those people there that are there for Tennessee Bigfoot, they're all not going to leave the group because the movie's out. They're going to stay because they want to see what you're going to do next.
Yeah.
Right? And so basically what they've done, they have become fans of yours. They have become followers of yours. Okay, Kalel Neal just did his first film. I watched it. I liked it. What's he going to do next? There's that excitement there. That's why people stay. That's why people want to hear what you have to say, because they're excited for you.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate my followers.
What about that for you, Nicole Ann? What was the first time someone recognized you for your acting ability outside the movie set or the live theater set? That someone came up to you and said, "Hey, I really liked what you do." Do you remember that?
I can't say that I have had that experience quite yet.
Yeah.
Yet. Apart from maybe, my family's saying when I do, I'm like, hey, she looks familiar. Well, obviously. But yeah, I have not had that experience quite yet. What I did like is when we did the Mousetrap, I had to use a British accent the whole time. And so when we went down to do the meet and greets after the shows each night, and we were thanking the people that came, a lot of the compliments that I did get was, I would never have guessed you weren't British.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That is neat. What's the audition like? What's the audition part like for you, Nicole Ann? Walk us through what you do to prepare for audition, both for live theater and also for film. Because are there two different ways that you prepare for roles from stage and on film?
Well, for the auditioning aspect, usually with the theater is you're going in with a group of people and you all have the same script. One I went to in particular separated us by who we were reading for. And that's more cut and dry. Like This is who I'm reading for. You do your part, and you move on. A lot of the shorts and the films in the area, we do a lot of self-taping. So I will do 3 or 4 different kinds or different versions of a self-tape, and before I decide which one to submit. Because if I can capture an emotion better on the second take as opposed to the first one, or on the fourth, or whichever, I'll edit pieces together and usually put them together in a package and send them away. Like I just did, I did 2 takes of a self-tape for a guy over in the UK who's doing a film, and he needed an American TikTok vlogger. And so I did 2 different versions of his script, of his lines, and he loved them both and hasn't decided which one he's going to use yet.
Right.
But a lot of it shifted into self-taping and submitting that way as far as filming.
Now, have you ever auditioned live in person?
Yes, yeah, I have auditioned live in person.
What do you like better? Do you like the self-taping better, or do you like in person better?
I like the self-taping better because I have those opportunities to stop and redo what I want to do and not use up too much of somebody else's time. Because when you're going into an in-person audition, they usually have so many people, and they're like, okay, well, thank you, we've seen what we need to, and then you move on. So even if you want to redo a part, sometimes you can't.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes that happens. That is the poison. That is, the live is. You might not get the best performance, and then you might not get a second chance, or you might get maybe 2, but that's it. And then you're right. I mean, you just do the best you can. But live, the self audition is, it definitely has its benefit. Kalel, I see the cryptids have taken over your monitor again. I think it's that Bigfoot guy. I think the Bigfoot guy is doing that. So let's talk about you. Now, I know you cast your mom and your dad in your movie, and but I'm sure that while you were doing that, were you thinking about how, like if you could cast anybody that you want into your movie, how would you if someone came up there and says, I want to audition for the movie, how are you gonna handle casting? What do you look for when you look for an actor to come in to do a role for you? I mean, what do you expect from them? Do you have any sort of expectations for the role that for a role, because you're doing a horror movie with Tennessee Bigfoot? Are you looking for someone? If you had to recast the movie today, would you be looking for someone who had a horror background? Would you look for someone who didn't have a horror background? How would you recast Tennessee Bigfoot if you had to do it all over again?
I go by who feels right for the movie. Does it make sense? Like, I mean, I do have certain people that I want in the sequels. There will be more people. And certain people just feel right for the character. Some people I've seen in movies, and some of them are horror people, some of them are not. But yeah, that's basically it.
Now, how far? I mean, I asked you this earlier, but how far away are you from a populated town? That if you if you want to go down there to hang out with other peers and see what if you heard about there's a movie being filmed within a couple of hours of your house, are you comfortable enough to go and say, oh, they're doing that? Or would you go ahead and go down and watch what they're doing, see how they're filming? Not necessarily audition or anything, but like if they're looking for crew or what have you, and you go like, okay, I'm going to go down just to see how the process works. Have you thought about doing that?
I actually haven't, but we're about an hour and a half from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay. Okay.
between Knoxville and Nashville. So, yeah.
You're in a good spot. You're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Where do you now? Have you met any friends off your Facebook group that are fellow filmmakers in Tennessee that are close by you? Have you met anybody that you started communicating with, networking?
Not yet, no.
Oh, there's our first lesson for today, to network.
Yeah.
Now, how many people in your Facebook group, your Tennessee Bigfoot group? Have you noticed that there's anybody that's a filmmaker in the group?
Not really, no.
It's
It's mainly just Bigfoot lovers.
Yeah, I think we're all Bigfoot lovers. Okay, we all love Bigfoot. We all. And now I got to say one thing too. I love the fact that you're doing a Tennessee Bigfoot, but please, whatever you do, promise me one thing. Please don't do please don't do a Tennessee Wendigo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because that would just hurt my feelings, because a Wendigo is a Canadian creature, not a Tennessee creature.
Okay.
We're sticklers here when we're talking about our cryptoids. That's for sure. Okay, let me ask you this. Let's talk a little bit of fun, because I want to know this too. But what's the scariest movie that you've each seen? Now, is Mars Attacks, has that been the scariest movie that you've seen?
No, not that I'm an adult now. No.
Okay. So what's
As a child, yes.
What's the scariest movie that you guys have each seen?
Whew. The first one that pops to mind for me immediately was The Conjuring. That was pretty intense for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me it would be Night of the Demons, or there was something else. I'm just gonna go with Night of the Demons. I forgot the other. Have you guys heard of that one?
Yeah, Night of the Demons, sure, but not Prophecy though, right?
Mm-mm.
That's about a mutated bear. That was just sort of like a Bigfoot.
Okay, cool.
Or grizzly. That's about a 15-foot. That's about a 25-foot grizzly bear.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of all the creatures that I could think of. So let's go back to you, Nicole, real quick. So you're open to anything. Now, how about this? Is there any movies that you would not go to? And have you met anybody on while you're out there, like doing the groups or what have you? Have you met anybody that's tried to scam you? And if so, how did you deal with it?
Luckily, no, not yet. I do know that is very prevalent, and safety is always a number one concern. Usually I spend a lot of time talking to someone before I even meet them. And it's never, you never want to meet someone either alone or not in an open place. So I haven't been scammed yet, which is great. As far as things I wouldn't do, I guess I haven't really crossed that line quite yet. I'm sure there would probably be something I come across where I'm like, no, maybe not. But as I navigate and experience things, I face those challenges.
Now, is there a type of film that you won't do? Is there any part that you would not do? That like you'll do this, but I won't do that. Is there anything that there's limitations for you?
I guess it would come to perhaps extreme adult situations would be one, because when I first started talking to people about going out to California, they're like, yeah, there's a lot of adult features that you don't even realize that's what you're walking into. So that would be something I would be probably pretty much against. But there's been scenes where there's been implied things, and I'm fine with that.
How about you, Kalel? When you write scripts or anything, or is there a certain type of movie that you just won't touch? if someone said, yeah, maybe you should write about a killer Bigfoot vampire. Is there something like that you're sitting there going like, nah, I don't really feel that's really in my cup of tea. I don't really feel comfortable writing something like that or directing something like that. Or are you game for anything?
I feel like I would be bad at doing love stories. Like I'm strictly horror. Because I feel like if I did a love story, it'd be very cheesy. So yeah.
So the Bigfoot, there's not going to be any female Bigfoot in the next movie.
No, it's just
No
one.
He's going to be a pissed off Bigfoot next movie. I feel sorry for him. I'm already feeling sorry. The movie's not even made yet. I'm feeling sorry for the Bigfoot already. He's not getting any action next movie. That's terrible. Now you mentioned California. Now is that something that you want to do? Is that where you want to aim to go to go to California? Or because I think Ohio has what does California have that Ohio doesn't at this point?
That's a good question. So the California aspect was just to have the experience of being out there where the element is its strongest. Now that because California is more film based, New York is more theatrical. Even Atlanta is becoming a bigger hot spot, and I've also heard Nashville is getting a little bit more traction to it too.
I heard that
California
too.
For me is more just seeing the history of it and going to the actual sets. Like I've always wanted to be in the audience of a sitcom. Like if I could have been part of the audience for Big Bang Theory at any time, my life would have been complete. It would have been great because those kind of environments too allow you to see a whole different perspective. And if you get the opportunity to see that, you carry that with you. So for me to answer that quickly it's just for the perspective.
Do you think people who get cast in California on shows like Big Bang Theory, do you think it's more of a case of talent versus opportunity? I mean, do you think like some people get the jobs because there's an opportune time, right place, right time, or do you feel like a lot of people do get the roles that they get because they are that talented?
Well, I think with a lot of those particular people, they already had a strong background in the acting. So I think for them, it was like an opportune moment to do something more. They brought with them quite a bit of talent, and you even see them develop that further. Like Amy Farrah Fowler's character in the very beginning, from the very beginning to the end of her introduction and the end of the series, you saw such a shift in how she portrayed that character. And it's something to really notice the way their talent develops, even when they're seasoned actors.
Yeah, it is interesting. I will have to say that whenever there's a TV series, much more than movies, where movies are so much smaller and they're compact, you don't really see you don't have a lot of time for character development like you do on a TV series. If you got a chance, let me ask you this: if you got a chance to do a series like Big Bang Theory versus, say, a big Christopher Nolan movie, if you got the same offer at the same time, which one would you take and why?
Oh, I would go with the sitcom, just for it's typically done in a studio in front of an audience. It's live usually, and they do repetitive takes. I think that environment would offer more for me as a developing actor.
Let's see. Oh, yes. Mayim Balaam, right? That's her name.
Yep, ma'am.
And Justin says that she's a neurobiologist in real life.
Yeah. She is. Yes. Yep.
Well,
and she portrayed one on TV. It's her entire story is amazing.
There's an actress named Briggs Stevens who is a horror queen, longtime horror queen, and she was actually trained to be a marine biologist.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's some extremely smart people out there. Yes. Even mentioned for a creature feature love story like Frankenstein. Let's see. And Mr. Bone says he'll always remember Mayhem for being in Blossom. Yeah. Yep. He was there, and That's interesting too what you said. What about you, Kalel? Let's take that same question and throw it your way. If you had a chance to direct a sitcom for 23 episodes versus doing a feature film, $100 million feature film versus a 23 episode of a sitcom, what would you like to direct and why?
Probably the movie. Like, I feel like it would go bigger. I don't know. Like it would have a more of a impact. So
Would you be afraid of doing a big budget film? I mean, have you thought about something like that? Like, what kind of movie you would like to do? I mean, not everybody can do a big budget movie the same way. Like
yeah.
you want to do horror, but if someone offered you a chance to do like a World War II movie, would that be something that you would sink your teeth into? You feel challenged to do that? You wouldn't shy away from it, or is it something where you would just hold out for something more in your wheelhouse? Play it safe,
Like directing it.
right?
Yeah. I would have to watch a bunch of war movies to get into that world, to
Right.
see how they act and see, what kind of weapons they use. And then I would have to learn what to do before
Now,
that, because I'm not into war stuff. If I'm going to direct anything that I am not usually into, I'll have to get some inspiration from other types of films because
now you mentioned that you feel like you don't need film school. You want to keep it natural.
mhm.
How do you plan on adding to your experience? I mean, how are you going to improve on your craft? I mean, I know we're having fun with Bigfoot, and that you do the second one, but how's the second movie? What will you do for the second Bigfoot in terms of filmmaking technique versus what you did for the first film? Would you get a digital camera, or would it still be by your phone? What are some of the things that you could improve on in your second Bigfoot rather from your first Bigfoot?
Just it would still be on my phone. I think the only upgrade would be more people in it.
Okay. Yeah.
That would,
Yeah.
yeah, and he would be more aggressive.
No, is that possible?
Well,
Well, there would be more people in it,
Okay.
so it would,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be more aggressive. He's not going to have any action. So,
Yeah. For real.
that's right. So what are you looking for as far as that goes? As far as adding people to the cast, where are you going to go to get it? Where would you go to cast your movie? If you needed an extra 15 to 20 people, how would you cast that? Would your parents help you out with that? Or would you be doing it by yourself? How would you cast a 20 speaking roles?
I have a lot of Facebook friends. I would probably just be like, hey, I need some extras in my movie. Yeah, some that are in the industry.
I hope that, I really do. I really hope that we can. Now you said Bigfoot's already made. So did you release it on physical media? How can we see Bigfoot?
Yes. Well.
You have a world premiere. Hold on, this first.
Okay. Well, we're having a world premiere at the Palace Theater in Crossville, Tennessee, my hometown.
Okay.
And
April 6th.
it's on April 6th. And we got a DVD for it as well. And it's actually a free event. So anybody that comes don't have to pay for tickets, but we will be charging for the DVDs and stuff.
Of course. But that's cool that you made a DVD. How many copies did you make?
100.
You'll sell them all out. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's so much fun.
Thank you.
Nicole Ann, what do you got coming up next for 2024? What do you see yourself doing after the play is over? What's on your schedule after that? I asked you about LA, but let's go back to Ohio because Ohio's on fire. Are you going to stay? You're going to try to stay in Ohio through 2024, then try to make the leap to LA, or are you going to try to make the leap to LA before that?
I think the LA thing would probably just be like a visit rather than a relocation. Like, because I said, I would like to see the perspective, maybe spend a little bit of time seeing where I could get information and view what they do, rather than move out there and be like, hey, I'm going to try it out here. Ohio, actually, I know a few people in some groups in Toledo that are growing quite well. There's a new film commission. Ohio's been granted new tax credits. So there's different filming companies already looking to come here, from Toledo to Dayton and Columbus, Cincinnati. We have big cities here that do films quite well. And Toledo is being looked at more frequently now, from what I hear, because we have access to so many different things.
Now, is that something you and your peers talk? Do you do that, by the way? Do you have a group of friends that you go out and have a cup of coffee with and sit down and talk film with, or is it just all done online?
I do have a couple people that I get with frequently, and we have very deep conversations about it. The rest of it's usually always just done online in online groups.
Yeah, we gotta find a way to get Kalel out to Knoxville and Nashville. Hopefully we can do that. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, have you thought about doing that? Where like at least once a month to maybe you and your dad jump in the car and head on down to the city to hang out and see what's going on?
I haven't. No. But it would be good. Yeah.
I think it's something that would be great. Just leave the costume behind, and
Scare some people.
Scare some people.
Do a meet and greet. Bring it with you. Do a meet and greet.
Yeah.
Meet Bigfoot.
Maybe carry around some Jack's jerky with you, and
yeah.
Have you? I mean, it's just all about getting out there, and networking, because because it's so important. It's so important. Now, your dad has. What have you learned from your parents? What are some of the lessons that you've learned from your parents in regards to your experience as a young filmmaker?
Work hard, pursue your dreams.
Be creative.
Yeah. How about you, Nicole Ann? What are some of the things that you learned from your mom that inspire you today?
Oh, Mom, get ready for this one. So my mom is a phenomenal singer, and I've been able to watch her throughout my life perform at campgrounds and in different venues, just doing what she loves to do. She has this voice that she just protrudes confidence with. And it always amazes me every time I hear her sing anything. And she's actually more my inspiration for getting out and getting more confident, because the way that she carries herself when she performs, I was like, I want that level of confidence. If I could sing like her, things might even go in a whole nother trajectory. She's my inspiration for performing and having confidence in front of a group of people.
That's awesome. I'm going to go to the chat real quick. I'm going to ask the chat to throw out some questions. Let's see. Let's see. Mr. Bones wants the Tennessee Bigfoot DVD.
All right. They'll be available on Etsy, Facebook shop. We're going to try to get it on Amazon, eBay after April 6th, the premiere, because we want people to, the first time people see it, it'll be on the big screen.
That's right. That's right.
It'll be like online.
What have you learned from your parents too? Let me ask you this, because you said your dad was a professional bodybuilder. So you see your dad, how he operates as far as getting out there, promoting himself, promoting what he does, talking to people from all over, when he goes to do a competition, there's people that know him that come up to him and talk to him. Have you picked up on any of that yet? Have you, do you have confidence to walk up to somebody and, like if you have to make it like for the second movie that you're going to make, how much, if you don't mind me asking, you don't have to tell me, but what was your budget for your first film?
3,000, I think 3,000.
So
yeah, because we actually upgraded our phones so we could have a better camera, and then we got the suit, the camp, the tent, lights, and all that fun stuff.
You got everything except for one thing. You got everything right except for one thing.
What?
The craft table. That's why you had an angry Bigfoot.
Yes.
Safe with me.
So the next time you get a producer, the next time you get an executive producer, you got to mention that to him. Like, listen, I want a $10,000 budget, but I also want like an extra $1,000 budget for the Bigfoot because he eats a lot.
For real.
Now, have you learned anything? Picked up any tricks from him as far as getting yourself out there and saying, as far as like, hey, I'm making a movie. This is what I've done. I want you to go to see it. This is why you should see it. Like if you were going to sell me the movie, because I haven't seen it yet, but I asked you, tell me why. Why should I see your movie? Why should I? What's the compelling thing about me seeing your movie? Sell me your movie.
Well,
So you've done some marketing at Comic-Cons.
I've done some marketing in Comic-Cons. I've actually given the voice of Scooby-Doo a flyer of mine, and he was actually he actually talked about stuff like Bigfoots, aliens, and to us for like 15 minutes. And I've given another actor, he was Jeff Fisher's voice on American Dad. I don't know if you guys know that. And I gave him a flyer as well. And he was all for it. He said he really respected like independent filmmakers. He's like, you go, Kalel.
Let's see. Justin has come out with a comment is, I'm always interested in think on your feet improvised moments. Do you both have a particular moment that was like that and it actually turned out better than was written in the script? So yeah, let's talk about that. Well, Nicole Ann, we'll go with you. Tell us about a moment where you had to improvise, and what role was it? How did you improvise, and what was your reaction to it?
I've got a perfect one. My dogs are trying to get my attention. So last fall when we did the mousetrap, I have a scene where I told my guests in my house, like, it's a bit dark in here. Let me go turn the lights on. And so I went and I hit the light switch that was on the stage, and then that gave the cue to the lighting crew to turn the lights up, make it brighter. Well, as I walked away from that spot on the stage, all of a sudden the whole place goes black, completely dark. And I'm thinking, oh no, what happened? So in that moment, I just thought, I apologize, this weather, it's affecting our lights. Let me attempt to turn the lights back on. So I went back over to my spot on the stage and I proceeded to press my fake button. And it was perfect timing because all the lights came back up. So I thought, okay, someone must have hit something up in the light booth. It's fine. We're moving on. Later on, we couldn't find out that there was nothing we could have done because the entire town had a blackout during our show.
Oh, wow.
Although we're thinking it's something that we did. No. But that was a quick think on your feet moment for me.
Wow.
How about you, Kalel?
Look, there was a scene in the movie. Let's see if I can tell this without getting too specific. It's an attack scene where the Bigfoot chases me. And it was like in a part of our woods like an entrance to our woods. So I was running, and I'm literally about to just run out of the woods into my yard. And I'm like, crap, I need to make it look like I'm in the woods still. I hope he gets here fast enough before that happens. And luckily he did. And it turned out really well.
Nice.
Now I'm going to do something a little different while I look at the Bigfoot group. I want each of you to ask a question from the other. Think of a question that you want to ask him, and Kalel, think of a question you want to ask Nicole, and ask it. Because she's an actor, you're a director. So what questions would you want to ask a director, and what questions would you like to ask an actor?
Okay.
So this kind of stems back to what we were talking about before. If an actor is in the position where you're directing them and they say, hey, can we try such and such? You're open to the perspective from the actor's side to see their creative vision too.
Yeah.
Without taking away from your vision.
Yeah. If I do like it, I would go with it. So
awesome.
Yeah. What was the best experience for you when it came to acting so far?
The best experience. Oh, there are so many good ones. I think if I'm going directly towards the acting, it's my first experience here in Ohio with like making a little film was I went to location and I thought, I'm about to do something I've never done before and I don't really know these people. And it was way better than expected. And I made such great friends. That's been the best experience out of everything. Everyone I meet becomes such like great friends.
Yeah.
That's
I hope to have an experience like that later on.
Oh, you will. The more you network, for sure. It'll be phenomenal.
Thank you.
I gotta find the Bigfoot group. I'll have to do that and put it down in the description box for sure. No, there's a ton of there's actually a lot of Tennessee Bigfoot groups that are going on. I didn't know Bigfoot was in Tennessee. That's amazing. To the chat, I'm gonna give you guys give you a chance to ask another question as well. And yeah, tell your dad to put his head on camera so we can say hi to the Bigfoot.
The man behind the mask.
Yeah, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Are you proud of your son?
I'm very proud of him. Yes.
I think you have every reason to be. He sounds like a really smart young man with a good head on his shoulders, and you can definitely see the influence that you've had on him. And hats off to you for doing, helping him pursue his dream. I mean, that's a hell of a thing for a parent to do, and for you to dress up in a costume and have fun with him. I think it's amazing. And I'm very happy to meet both of you. And
I'm nice to
meet you too.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you guys, and I'm glad you came onto the show. And like I said, as soon as I saw Kalel with that Tennessee Bigfoot, I said, I'm so there. I could not hit the invite fast enough.
I love Bigfoot.
Yes.
So, what do you feel? How do you feel he's doing so far? I mean, because you're in show business, in an aspect of show business, bodybuilding. That is part of the entertainment industry as well as sports. Sports. So, how, in your own opinion, how do you think he's doing? And what advice are you giving him?
Well, I think he's doing great, and the biggest thing is just stay grounded. Work hard, be creative. Yeah. He's doing an outstanding job. His mother and I, we actually were extras in Rocky Balboa back in the one that came out in 2006. Knew a guy who knew a guy. Flew out to Vegas. We were actually ringside for that. We actually started the Rocky chant. So if you watch the movie, the director yelled cut after like 5 to 8 minutes and said, that's the keeper. Whoever started that Rocky chant, it was perfect timing. So that was his mother and I that did that. So if you watch the movie, We did that.
Nice.
But from a young age, he's always been around that type of environment. We love movies, love entertainment, love the industry. So we just encourage him to be creative, be himself, and stay humble. So I think he's got great things ahead of him, and we're really proud of him. Very proud of him.
I definitely would, next time he comes up and he wants a favor from you, though, hey, Dad, I need an extra, $700 for a new lighting rig or what have you. I definitely would tell him, like, you want something, I want something too. I want in the second part of the movie, I'd just like to have a little bit of romance. Could you make a girl Bigfoot? I mean,
well, as long as he plays his mother in the role, and she's not very tall, so I'm not sure how that would play. We have to use camera angles, perhaps. So maybe that's a possibility.
There you go. See, Kalel, you know how Hollywood is. It's always people always want something. They always want something from you for something. Yeah, congratulations, both of you. I can see that the premiere is going to go extremely well. I definitely see you selling out all 100 copies of your DVD.
Thank you.
Do more. If they all sell out, make more, because physical media matters. I just want to thank you guys for coming out, and you too, Nicole Ann. I hope you guys had a lot of fun doing the show. I had a joy having you on here. This is your first press.
Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations, you passed with flying colors. Onward and upward. Today 8 questions with, tomorrow TMZ, right?
That's right.
For real.
Let's see. I just want to say thank you to the chat for coming out and supporting this show. I really do appreciate it. Nicole Ann's mom came out and supported, and Justin, nice meeting you both. And thank you to our regular crew here, Betty J, Steven. I saw people earlier. Anna was here earlier. Greg Scorpion was here. The mighty Mr. Bones of the Boneyard, and my fellow boutique Bala. That's right. Mayanne was here. Thank you so much for coming out, Mayanne. I appreciate it. JT, the Bud Files. Thank you all coming out. Tomorrow night, we'll be back. That's right. We'll be back tomorrow night. We have the lovely Haley Elizabeth will be here. She is a makeup artist. She is also a body painter, and she is a Twitch streamer. And so we will be talking with her tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Real quick on the calendar, because I got to tell you what's going on next week. Real quick, and then we'll let you guys get out of here. Next week, we have actress Heather Harlow will be here with us on the 19th.
I know her.
You know Heather?
I know Heather.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll be here next Tuesday in the chat. On the 20th, we have Nikki Latour and Deanna from Rogue Luna Entertainment will be here on the 20th. And then on the 22nd, we are doing a watch party. We're doing a watch party. We're going to be watching Hunter's Moon, and we'll be doing a director's commentary with the screenwriter and the director of that movie, Michael Cassie. And that will be next Friday at 9 p.m. Michael Cassie is a really strong screenwriter and director. He wrote a movie called Hangman that starred Carl Urban and Al Pacino. Oh. And he also did like I said, Hunter's Moon with Amanda Weiss from Nightmare on Elm Street, and also Daniel Hill. And so he will be here on the 22nd, and we'll be doing a watch party and talking about Hunter's Moon. It's a terrific concept. If you honestly tell you the truth, Kalel, you know what? I'm going to do this on the fly. I'm going to invite you to come up and hang out with us on the 22nd, so you can meet Michael Cassidy. So you want to do that?
Alrighty. Yeah, it's cool.
Nice.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, he is the real deal. He is a real deal. Incredibly gifted writer and filmmaker. And I'll talk to you more about it off camera, and you can come out and hang out with us on the 22nd. So have questions ready. Awesome. All right, boys and girls, that's how we do it. That's how we network. Thank you again so much for your support, and we will see you tomorrow. You two stay right where you're at. And to the chat, we'll say good night, and we will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock with Haley Elizabeth. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.